Isn't it say
most of them
a president a very lonely?
That's what I said. Most of them because they are only going by the report that they and we say not here and we know
that's why when you are close to president, and some of us then the opportunity of getting close to president say only one edim komo now okay what may be happening in the system they go like, hey, who is sure? Because they don't get that kind of briefing to the extent say even security briefing president require a massage the
only man who say Ghana agin sema ya nsumi ya kujina oda between the continent, the member of parliament and the MC. We could not say either Galamsey was doing well or was not doing well. Interest, I'm telling you, me say ya musi akotwa bim ya hu de ekoso na ya toma kromano even oda kromana ankasa. Here is a continue who feels that a chakra Galamsey ni ho na matwina adwe so anu abrase na abrase. Here is an MP saying that during the time of the MPP, here is an MC who's also telling that you buy a crown, assembly by lobby, so look at just Odan, definition of Galamsey.
Obi a Canadian.
It is only this country. And even I can't my health minister area can do this. My body decree mean to say. Well, I did a bunny and Joshua, San Nebo. Now, by so saying a lot of responsibilities. Why is it that you didn't pay come maybe apart from maybe Boku area or in coach, doctor from per se or more resistant for fear. All other areas, I don't know beyond person, but I said national service. Doctors, no. I said national service here. Who do you go to maybe I'm cultural day at Kasim? Anybody believe that? But the experience I've had at Kasim, are building me up in my life.
But when him said doctors need and yet a recent phenomenon. And let me even add, Oba lawyers in Pod Yedia quite yes. But here, no, and you're posting here, post you. And you one lawyer now be decided where I want to practice. Say me ma data na. Utimi ko unim say there are regions in Ghana. Lawyer for who nyina officially on paper. Ebi ho be 10. Ebi ho 11. Okay, ebi ho 20.
The answer ma menka say mo kwa no me nko for to me kese say ya dey the only choice. What is it? You only choice. A lawyer for no quite do baby. See, the people need to charge you for crime. More because you are a lawyer for the best small man by some major man become Ranesi Chin. So you know, be charge you. But oh, yeah, dear. Doctor said, you are posted. Exactly. When I guess our choice, it's not region way. And then I share data. 2025 Ushe postings now. Use omoye allocation for regions. For region may start with wow region. The Ghana Health Service postee 21 doctors. Ahafo. Yeah. Omua a report is here as at 28th 11th November 2025. 28th November. Yes. 2025. Out of the 21. As at Omua now report here 8. So in the more report here 13 for region and for near region I'll make us a region deprived 8 out of 21 I report you. I report beyond our from baby uncle now call Bono say 29 or more I report here 11 Bono East 27 or more I report here 9 Central 34 or more I report here 20 Eastern 36 or more I report here 23 Greater Accra Hampo here the Dawn 20 or more I report here 16 4 on Koi. Now the northern region the northern region 32 and the core northern region or more I report here 7 now we say our region be a Obian reporting northeast region or more than 19 the core 0 Obian reporting. What it should tell us first and yet just Oman report to in fact you be gina any minister in Abaya gonna say young father said yen to moya post to but when we do that to Obi it's a teaching postings no so me teacher ni catch us in the conditions under which I was teaching now. Mr. Usu will be a tiffy mantem. Yankasa Ghana this year. Yeah, will be a tiffy mantem because Borgan ye trial.
Yes.
As it means me, yeah, Doctor Papa Nibi. Now, dear Tinie, there be other because I'm buying this Angela. Oh, from Ratchet. Yeah, I didn't say about developer.
I should be.
Of course.
President Mahama,
of course,
in the campaign,
of course,
identifiable bodies bills, more cassette or bar, one of the things he will be doing.
The reason why I push this agenda is a national duty, county choice. But baby, Omana Kodunu, politicians and all manner of people have demonstrated actually say. When you sacrifice for Ghana, it's at your own expense.
That's a politician in the banner.
National service. GMP. So we need to approach it holistically. Me and paint picture bit said here. I don't know. Ampa will join hands with the doctor, with the minister, and say Ampa we need be a post to be ano. Wadarama. But as we are talking, baby, okay, a tiffy man temono. Baby, poor didn't tiri. But don't lower the standards of somebody whose brain or no sebi nyamini wa sebi
ejuma
oye no ebo adwene ni ntiase so.
But Oman, that notwithstanding, there were 5 northern regions. 5 northern regions no emu bako 3. Obian report you 0
dangerous.
Two na akano into miensa na Obian report in northeast 19 and was say so far 0. Oba upper east now was 35 neko so far 0. Upper west now was 32 neko so far 0. The aka northern region was 32 echo 7 and aqua savannah 19 and was 7. Into for the 5 northern regions are only 14 doctors for 5 northern regions.
So here is the deal, Obi. Whilst we are waiting for a binding, well, so because your representative on your checks in terms of even facilities all for doctors you post to mama say you see the challenge. 2, acquire your treated doctors and once say that has been our behavior towards postings. That has been our behavior. As if saying as my father and Mr. Sigri started from the late 2 personalities, Mr. Sigri Sigri Papa. A chief man Boliga. When we pay so Boliga for over years. Kakra Fodia, try and briefly back to Kumasi. So even as you say a word, it's now say sir patriotism no sir believe in Ghana. I am a proud Ghanaian. Sir quality see na I hear for system no.
But man, even that no matter how much you believe in Ghana, say don't call Zabzugu Tatala na district hospital wo the only doctor and as a second doctor they will call no baby abeda kura wu ni bi ma already no. So ma e was school e won cry oyere
e change system
e won cry o change system no and no quote me dey e ma so time cry na dey assemble but even asofo man to the extent that even asofo mpo no depending on district they will be called sometimes so for me cry mpo be di wachi akọ e no cry asofo di e no po ya nyame adwuma na doctor inti doctor adwuma wo koye ade en wo se we encounter any stress but we hear that presence of okoye obi surgery you need that presence of mind, concentrate and do the work. In the new man was our drain your car with the quajuma, baby papa or better, can you feel? You don't have to be thinking about those things. And they say, I buy at the walk, and I heard the minister. I think where I disagreed kakra with my good friend, the ultimate one or they my doctors.
Well, ultimately
they have to go behind the scenes and understand the situation. I get it 50-50. I get it 50-50. But over the years, doctors never say
ransom too much. 50-50.
And we have
but whichever way no find as I say a baba on leading but the number can say so what tiffy man term. Now this is the challenge you have. Who have for man term, mammy specific. Now this year what have so who you identify the challenges why doctors are not going through that.
Yes.
Now you see a central government biribia da. There be no madaroma. I disagree. Nana no move that agency now. Move says I gap in the wa. Yes, you to be more boy.
Yeah.
Because you are more boy who your original minister, your opinion leaders, your this year one was kapa ye. Only bet me. Yes, you were new one. You bet me that they said they are called to him. You were Alexi Bomb. You were Titrua. You bet Maka say a doctor for Banglo Pantino, a doctor for Sipus by Enko. How is that possible?
It's not be a region.
How is that possible?
Say you're posting doctors 20.
How is that possible?
Not 8 pen hours.
So I say, it's even half of one. Yeah, you're half of
sure.
We've not even understood. Say, gap on a doctor patient now. A high ankasa. I feel your best rabbi say, no cry, ampa, Uso Bison Koya Juma for one caddy a man. Munina doctor for no. In posting them to those areas, no, me promote one design. We've gotten to this place because you to my JJ. Now, I said, those work of letters don't go to my temple. We from an also a friend volunteer. Or not to make a tent. For about 6 months, 1 year, 6 years. If you've been crowd finally volunteering job, or my cat, I back up stay or no for. And in your some more a TV man, not the regime, some woman doing kaya.
I'm on sign. And on Manunim, where I came. You were shocked, sir. 5 northern regions now.
Oh,
so far 14 doctors are reporting the 5 northern regions. No, Obasha doctors are passing out a year post to me. Or more if you northern region, be 40% of doctors.
Yes.
Or more region compass of the.
You don't want to go and say.
Why not? Well, I think, sir, going forward, another way around this issue, and I say, Oman, the regional coordinating councils in some of those regions would be deliberate. Say now you per se the doctors echo.
That's the point. There should be a lot of issues that we can trash it out.
All these doctors should come back and come and serve as part of the bond that money you sign. Because and fee paying, so medical school fee paying a year would you have 14,000-15,000.
Of course.
At least come and work for 3 years. As a bond now over. I think we should find
so many creative ways
of dealing with
it. So many creative ways.
Say region nimpo and yakana okokoye medicine no. Never we upper west region ni, we upper east region ni. Na say doctors say post to amako region ba kumpo say onko. Now we feel also say you
are not bothered.
Hey,
now we are there how.
I also kwa na ka say dabi.
Who know you advocate?
Where dey me person me am.
Who I say
advocate. So na unko. Say me be free man so mo say so. Na ma be doctor. Ya de makwa asuonyu hospital. Me say me nko. Now Omanhene na MSN nko no say half na MSN.
Exactly.
Until we need to have a
any certain interest levels no Ghana because Ghana bra I tell you and no defense minister about no care about the danger on our borderlines no and how onyame hu ye mobo all this while ebedi sam pempensoria bibia in cases bia no entima timi say Ghana no down and the way amount for this bri no you have absolutely no idea. You have no idea. And it's a bit better no because so many brain. The peace that we enjoy are taking it for granted.
Sure.
So at no point in this year that I say you be chi and I be ha ama nyoma bia ensem fata no abeye a part of this country. We regret. And we urge politicians all the time. We urge the business community all the time. We urge especially central for any day before.
Yes.
Yakika any entro no. And it gets me into 2 things. I said, I will be myself now. A Professor Gyampo Abetinasi.
Yes.
Did you remember how I treaty a year?
We say, good afternoon, Obi. I was a nurse for 10 years.
Yeah.
In a village. I got scholarship to study medicine in Russia. So I applied for study leave with pay with the Ghana Health Service. I was denied study leave with pay. And you think I will go to a village after graduation?
So those are the things I can watch him. Say you can't win now. Near Kaya Banjo say, wasu de bi wo ho a ese oye ma eye akono ema a nurse for a doctor for pharmacist no obinya posting kwa na okọ na ntwi ase kra na obekọ because onim die okọ yes omo kan nyina yi onti fa sa ya de wi e ka se post me fa nko so ati ase and one you careful na the doctor for your pharmacist a nurse for what is say de bufu ko tena djuma wa and you ati say okay yes ye kan yes ye patro nyina na yefo minister so no na ye kai minister so say onu na ban oni omuni nkomo na oni ekrokro ahodo no so ade hye na won kran ne mmia bia ahodo enso ni nkomo na nkro ahodo no so amo so these challenges the APP to say half to say northern region most more addition no most more ni nkomo it's better for us to be thinking about some of these things than always trying to
one of the things he promised Nenko before so be MP and say not the whole district we need medical doctor. He said say Oba as part of the new Mobayamo will be to get medical doctors there. What did he do? He made sure say doctors bungalow on SCB. He made sure say hospital no money theater. Doctor need my surgery. Yes. Almost CB. What doctor. I think there are some creative ways of doing this. You know, for sa emrana sequence yentimi and a man quite it me it for my good year kwai no e repeal ana omo repeal say abaika say parliament resume omo de on the
no me careful
adai.
Oh, no, will be.
Some minister has what the back.
Now,
so say they are call more train maturity. I don't know.
But our sense of urgency in tackling some of these matters will be. And no, see, no, he has press conference also. Galam say a costo ding. When call for a war, a sefi, Ephraimia, on the videos neighbor, Galam say, and reserves him. A billion and a joke to now, I don't know
why that sense of urgency. But how it was a major campaign issue. That sense of urgency, it's surprising.
I don't know.
It's surprising. It's really surprising.
I don't know.
And even public pressure.
I don't know.
And the public pressure, they only amended the law rather than revoking it. In the public pressure, yes, now your banning your forest reserves no 42 as I say no they are permanent security areas security zones as we speak obi no dey na akosi as we speak some rana e be sequence ntimi nko to form agudi okwayem no that sense of urgency no obi sometimes some of these updates they are helpful if you say mamuni na no what's the results na bana ye mo fra ni addition modern bono mass this social say atosin kakana ebinimu nya kukudu e dey ye amanye sem equalization and na me person na say if you see a slow you need na atu yen you know not to ye. It's meaning the entire. You compare the best comparison is that and a winner was on a winner, yes, and a winner buy a winner, yes, and a winner, yes, and a winner put here, and a winner, yes. Now, okay, say, in fact, the incoming of this SHSA, me personal view. No, yeah, I call O level, like that, why I didn't so. Now, say, I get to few people in this current you want, and also more levels, no, a bus 3 year pa. That no has me catch me. Kodani bia onya kwanya so mefa system nim no se brofo pa wo ka si ani en contact mo reason up no mamu asem we aba na ntu wada because most of the people who take decision for us they are not a part of the problem they don't see the problem they don't feel the problem Nipa do na taking decision on our behalf no obi they've not gone through the mill before I'm telling you I don't feel about the same one sir so what I say if they've not gone through the mill before as ye can say and call over 200,000 mass and as a social studies and community media from unim say obi dey dikan now call do na kwa gidi so metima ko register basin of deck no ye wi nwadwuma do dada fi it we have to be home for a year that's what we train next
1 year
and when you register
1 year
oh by no say no man that is where when enter that make us Ghana Education Service statement no issue you know. It was an apology of I don't know who sanctioned it. Madam Fui Deputy Education Minister Edison Demi, Dr. Clement Park, and I'm like,
and Dr. Clement Park, you shouldn't have sent this to you. It's not the best because we are not I was so disappointed. Say, my main kind portion be crancho. Very disappointed. Pass say, omutimi choice I didn't go crata. Yet it's a man I said political party and individual interest. Please, let us say man I said political party interest. Yeah, we be chasing mukawa. And no crown a boomer bem class. Yadisha crown.
Paragraph 5.
GES insists the recently released 2025 WASSCE results are a true reflection of candidates' abilities as a result of strict supervision and enforcement of examination rules that restored integrity to the process. And you know, even this morning, I got to understand that Omokromote board councillor, current people, Omote council also. So what they are referring is that all these years, WAEC has been compromised. This is political release.
GES
additional problem about nobody will have additional problem about. And that is how we have solved our problems in this country.
And rather say statement nabana a better statement.
Where is even the examiner's report? Where is the report? So what is this?
By this month and
so what is this?
So why do you release a statement?
What is this?
Rather, media mention point say, oh, you who say over 200,000 people now intimate call my name no.
Why?
Of deck aye in the anyway air kasa. So maybe another
instead of us to prefer solutions. Please,
aquatra.
Yes, you are man for fear.
Over 200,000
in Ghana,
and you think that is a statement in this time?
And the whole GES
come and respond to
the whole GES.
Believe this. To respond to Dr. Educhum. Jesus Christ.
As we speak, Obi, there's no guarantee that the 200,000 plus people don't face social studies in mass. Atwa manim dia so do do diverse bebem emprewanyi sen ombe wura eye brebi ansem fata ebi be kwakwa wura baby a onso die da kwaso be kwakwa wura. Please, we don't want to talk about some of these things this way, but additional wasem no I say here say any pakwa exit just the four major public tertiary institutions no and the private ones be breba be ka no any pa exit every year. Where are they absorbed? And where are they absorbed?
Drive it for UPSA.
Where are they absorbed?
Legon. Now she's to the Negua. Now I'm crying.
Please, and you agree some GS we what that inference alone, that's why I can concrete to animal. That inference alone.
Not for statement, but you think the best statement of first 3-4 paragraphs to respond to Dr.
What is this?
As some Awakaka meeting NPP delegates.
What is this?
And the GS ever responded to. Really? Now we are fifth paragraph and it says we're a true reflection of student ability. Jesus Christ. Ghana Education Center. Wow.
Very needless.
No direction as to how
very needless.
Responding.
No you hope for over two na said what fast so now this year become one. Is this the best response you can give as Director General of Ghana Education Service? Bogus response. Yes, it implicates them.
Yeah.
Because if you sit on the council and you come to infer this way, very shameful. And for that 220,000 and over, a teacher for say a word. I will for your responsibility. I'm not to assume PTA for attention.
Yes.
Ghana Education Service, most more responsibility attention. All these stakeholders.
And Kwalamanka sounds
yes,
and you're responsible.
Yes. Because 220,000, you count 2,000. 220,000 obi anya akonya mass or the one say so now okay toilet says strict supervision. Street man go sit down on your tom preko. Please mami embo me obi you know koto console house 21 she ashimia no awia we kra me emu oh the pride of bravo mekoka to the pride of bravo. There's this young man, Dr. Entwibo Siakun.
Okay.
On the name on the 2025 Public Sector PR Leader of the Year.
PR Leader.
GPHE. Ghana Personnel,
okay, that's nice.
Dr. Entwibo Siakun. In fact, you have the support of your bosses, and you've also demonstrated say a Jumanu betimi.
Omanhene Asante will never stop hypocrisy. Libya Meka She say you didn't na nedwantoa na was san wa resign because what na say who say abanwe he has nothing to talk about intino obe resign na what na ni baby say be ya on tarnish ni image but Omanhene any obi die ese omo resign o but always you know they will make sure say they will tarnish the image of this government by interviewing people by their tactics any omuniyema bi omuye. And it is sad doctors in sema bayi enka there is no way enka was a blame health minister no da but because of Omanhene Asante omo po mo asema kan omo person wo blame ndc aban na omo aheda akofa previous nsem bi esiye na omo dia be counter na omo nya kwan ablame aban no. Oh yes sir, do you think say you are making sense? Do you think say unkwana sebi nyansa bebre wo tirimu? And it is sad. It's really sad. Sometimes yeah, say obia why journalism for so many years. Na onim said the media no esitio. Now yes still unya information unverified. He just put it out there criticizing, doing a whole lot of things. Omanhene Asante, they be a mekachro. Hey, almost sabotage, omunim se MPP omu party. And they be NDC bar, they find problem. They be NDC bar, but naswa. They are not comfortable. Until the omunye ye krano, na omu den eka. And this has been their tactics for all this while. The Debi America and this abanwe. John the Mani Muhammad president, they will always see a humble neho, they will always see a brain and wasi to a certain level bino. Oh yes, abanwe meguni ni masia, umune weni biguase. Because no president, on yen adwin se katasi shepro ye kan any sa dream dino, e because one abanwe mo. Even whoever wants to do it, obe make sure say any pakro will be kicked out from this government. And last time okay, say will be tied any minister, CEO, government appointee minister, director general, and I say obi a wana bemu na obeya dia ensem fata. He will use you as what? And I say he will use you as what a scapegoat. Yentie Professor Gyampo Shippers Authority, Ghana Shippers Authority or no, and our CEO. Wakan simbi na yebeti nsano ehinya papa what you say you ko buy beto so ediama
obiti the president most start to say more kasa more yes we chere wa adwen bi a o view no yes stronger no afre mo be kan wa adwen ne chere me ne mfanya adwuma maybe ya no menia penin bi a ne menia bi a me ne bonko so enra akra no president freying ya adwen no wutie yenya ayi se wo kire wadwen a am se wonsuro biem na wonim se on be kan kire se wo kakra na me ye ne mo intine ama ende wutumi kire wadwen na wo kire wadwen so a enye about say wo de kenten kunsu and say you are just romancing the stone. You know say somebody is listening. Oh now
Prof, you've built a brand for yourself around you speaking your mind on issues, sharing ideas any other. I don't remember any time in the last 8 years I would say Wadriya will be ye obibi.
Oh, there be ne me say oman for extra Wadriya omunsu. Me de onyame adomunti me nsuro hwe. Me de onyame adu na sem eya me ne nkofo eyeden e kasa me nso saa ne e bo me. Me nsuro hwe nyame adomunti. Oh, but yeah, I wouldn't call for being almost so cassa. Say they had the canon de be an amiso Sembeka, and I say, oh, I'm in an amiso, Namisio, there be. Intino, minimum call for and this room qua obinum so nya enyida so say adibi koso na say me feel say enkoso yi a meka obi beti ne betu ho anamon eno kra ye awechechire say nia o twasa no o hu se ne chia eden achia.
Are you saying say it's a new phenomenon, like let's even compare with the last 8 years na abaya na ewo ho no na obi nka bibi ma abaya ni ntie ntwensan it was happening there.
Please Ghana for
yes
ya dwemu do na ini bui ene me ba say mpese me cash pers authority fe me say mpese me cash pers authority pe mo bra me tisim na bidio bo me say bidio cause why juba I mean just say kai say obi mere so no me can say 1995 kumi preko demonstration against VAT.
Yes.
Rollins mpo anonje de osi onje democracy ndi. Onu mpo kumi preko demonstration withdraw VAT. But edu bibi no demonstration cry say mo kifit wetimi aya enkosi Martin Pebo say kumi preko reloaded. Court threatens sa oh, to the extent that you know that the president would listen. Okasobeti, you know, and onoji to say we should be tolerant, yes. And we should be able to bring everybody's view on board. It deepens the quality of governance in our country.
I agree. But on this, you were UTAG President Legon for 4 years, right?
Oh no, so UTAG President Legon for less than 2 years.
Oh, less than 2 years.
Men do 2 years.
Okay, okay, that's fine. But in your tenure as president, including the 2 weeks to elections, that general strike I'm threatening, based on what you did, the government backed down on certain things. A meeting demands nibiana.
Oh, there be. Oh, na there be Mr. and cancer ask me. Oh, but see a quote. It's
the demands now. Demands. Organized labor, the good papers or no.
Demands ban no. Demands. Oh, please. Nanka ban send ye. Oh, but see a quick share. Meko. Na minim say ne beko. Unim. Me buy the president.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm a cancer. They be a teacher for every teacher be a no musicasm. Maybe a teacher for better to be a musicasm. Na there be canino, your teacher for university professors. They were always engaging in national discourse
on policy
issues. Not for ideological division.
Sure.
To where they stood and they argued and all that. My dream was that so let us also be heard on important national issues. And no money, yes, my friend is saying issue that a voter a leaky eco farm call for spillage in eco farm call for be say what here me mobilizing me tag for am I sika am I the sika then eco boy nationally we sika na the demonstrate akatch them for say a teacher for a musican kwenim de na so kakra ye betumi aye no ye de bo ma ye koye eno ewie ye no ena ye te say adi aban epese snitch hostels be na so for oton and ye na ye ba together. Okay, we took a position. Organized labor also took a position there and to make a bomb on tomorrow. You know, Casa buying we am penny Emma on your day, and tons netting, and that brought a certain pressure because I know the and Kabaya we're going to shut down the entire public sector because organized labor in our casa and you'll be another remember that's Sati now be Sati na because the entire public sector, because there were going to be declaration of strikes all over. So the government had to back off.
On hotel, the Prof, when you hear today, say Deputy Finance Minister suggested So we should probably begin looking at strategic investors for snake hotels. No, how does that make you feel?
Well, so if that is the viewer, okay, I want to believe that a buying way would not just impose it.
Where impose means what?
You decide into the Yejuma. Ghana will run them. A yomodiano and your workers. And you know, if there is anything like that, you would have a certain dialogue session with them.
Yeah, but my workers, my reps onto the snake board. When the board takes a decision, it's a decision that encompasses the views of workers.
My main case means sure about representation.
Okay.
You see, there are several models of representation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
There is a trustee model of representation. If you have representation, you create a trustee model now. You are assumed to be an expert in that area. And you know your course represent your interest. You don't have to consult us because consulting us would amount to pandering to our ignorance. And to be a medical doctor, medical doctor, and then we need somebody to go and represent our interest in the area of medicine. What a medical doctor? You may not have to be consulted because you are an expert. Okay, and you were another model of representation, and only your friend the delegate model. So if you play the delegate model now, it is you are not supposed to have an opinion of your own, because on the matter that you represent the interest of your constituent on, your constituents are equally knowledgeable, or sometimes even more knowledgeable in that area than you. And when it comes to decision making now, okay, you have to go back to them and to consult to find out some premature women to abandoning. So Hannah Pitkin is a scholar on representation. He argues that ideally you must operate the trusteeship model, but when it comes to a decision that you yourself say idea way there, it affects bread and butter issues. It affects the direct life of my constituents. Now you see, obi okomudi obi a won't mean ase and sing on one kasa. And then in that case, you have to go back to those who have given you the mandate. Okay, and who a representative na say or beton or take decision be that's a decision affect the core livelihood of the constituents. Now the idea is that you go back to do some stakeholder consultation. But unfortunately, so if you don't understand it now, you'll be a representative and then you will tell me that now so no be and then one so when to me the person may have failed in his mandate as a representative, because especially when you are there and then your people that you are representing begin to talk. The moment they begin to talk, then it behoves on you to go back to them. Hey, take a decision, take this mamo, and say more say the day na more part. How no be near or more day or more. In that case, then your contribution to the decision making process would have been tampered by almost a view, sir, or more expressive. But when then you'll be there, and then your people will vote. Then
you blame more reps, you don't blame the decision that has been taken. And there be more reps who are part of the decision makers, and there was a consult one consult blame
there be patch you. We be blame now blame rep now. Now decision no so any decision papa. Now over decision.
But that's what I'm saying.
You can blame the rep, all right. But if the decision is also bogus, you are at liberty to also take exception to that decision. And I'm saying that is what then organized workers they decide they say and don't forget say oftentimes you may have a representative on a committee, but the person may be in a minority.
Yes.
Ebi krampo na ompe, but when ya kokodo sumpo ambeka ntia say adeno mpo na mempeo nti na bia na adini na afoyo na so for the owners of the power that is being exercised by the representative have got the right to speak out if they feel that their representative they don't like what their representative.
And that is what you did then. At the time, I don't think the opposition to that decision was not because Omanhene broad consultation. It was a decision against the principle of giving out snitch hotels to a private person who in this case was politically exposed.
Well, but the point is that the fact still remains. Even in that, if they had done still consultations were not done, and we felt that it was in bad taste. Okay, now they can't be see as some, so I say you are truncating my thoughts. Yes, I know we got government back down.
Yes.
Okay, but patrotio ansana follow my train of thought. Ansana yedi sika akobua wona ensue afa won ansana yebeka kire aban se ye ma no nton hotels no na oba University of Ghana na ya sure ya press statements several of them on Galamsey na ye the need for it to be fought na se for enti ye when we succeeded in getting the government off the sale of hotels and so forth. And they will be arguing say, see between me I sadia and your mama yani are buying and so kasa say on to Galamsey unto Anamon as so forth. Inti yani de asem you tag for any de asem cordon organized labor. And you want a fray, yani kaka say send your modi na ba together. Na yetumi stop hotels ye mumfa ye diasemi ebedom nti yenye because Galamsey there existential threat say who be da em say ye bom paye said e bi nsi na mum hwe me call conference bi o Switzerland na me do ho no omo check me hotel no
yes
na oma me disposable cups 5 no se menje na me fanko na mabre enti meje koye no me dua na me de me dai adichi oba paper dem ho a na osan de disposable cups 5 asaba am say wan say na me fanye den I say fanu nsuo na me say nsuo ben o say pipe na ubudware no eno na fanum na me say aden na say nsuo na afi mo ba no eye papa silvertech na wato no I'm say what and my dream started quite say na da bay na me no nsuo a efi mi ankasa me tap okay and na minimum konfo a okona okodware a no kita pure water okutwetwe ne se a or the pure water is that tap a flow also the enormity of the danger posed by Galamsey no eye ade a ehu ha intini mo bi no e die ni mo reta so say yamwana put a lot of not out of malice okay but aban betumi aye hu bibia na along the lines no a ye kono make I say yes ofra in few ofra meeting for the first time can no oko striker moya some oko striker abon say can national security penim for ye ko say akọ Galamsey striker bi say mpa monko obra me dai la se for afi ye wa aban de nhihye bi abaso bi a me meyese na media so ano isi as organized labor yeah na organized labor penny for so there be san hye there enko ani munti my nyintum omo asem omo ka kire yen no and say that thing was a Friday and almost my mfanye adwuma nti yenko na aban mu yen nti yenko na e obi anko prepare no bi and declare strike it be ma come campus a me ne nko for kasa say me say strike no kwa na e beko me wa na sa from so osi wuku ada aban den hye foforo den aba nti ne yemra na emeti mbi sa mpanyin fo say hye no foforo mo nka bi so wo ba ave ye ko ye se ekutie hye foforo na yedu ho no na mpanimfo no da organized labor no mukura paper bia edu o ma start kan kire yen say yaji atum say ye call of the strike na because abandon hye foforo okay let's stop for say ye buy see bitie hye foforo no na dey na wo kan no more pacho into mon kan hye foforo nche oba kan hye foforo that na wo
the same thing.
Okay, enti no ho no wo ye me a wodi edom anim a waka kiro mo sa ban de hye foforo aba okwa akotie wan ka bede enti ho na me tisi mo ka se de bi entumi mfanye edwuma a ye di sa industrial action. It was not because we didn't like somebody and as because we had a certain agenda. No, but we felt that even kasakra money yembe kasakra pono. Look, ufre penny me pesa mabobide. Fre puni se yishia ne pesa brana bad address. No, but say en ya pesa obeye. Bit me kasa meba. Last minute ufre no kra on fa. And then as for and the way a manner they are responding to Yemubia na yedi ni mono. I say you had a whole meaningful castle galamsey in Kuminipa galamsey it has no health implication. Yes, also TB. It has no health implication on people and yen 200 mombina. Nina na say emwa na adi no den asem. Nyentia I feel na ye koni nyina like I said no we be kaya so we follow a yankasa ye start galamsey no fight no ye so ni initiative steps ye end fight no e de kire say kanin ye kono the aim was to put pressure on the government to do something. Now only peninfo no because behind the scenes almost as now can you see anymore in minimum she say at this particular time you find that's one. Number two, offer penny bia or seminar meba nemum me wo constituency me at the campaign intino me nya daje na parliament to collapse here okay pintin because of parliament here and also my parliament suspended for intina in some of us our view no there was virtually no government because it do be na omanpini anka say to kwan the vice president should be also ebo approach or pay at the also your campaign na say for ministers be your campaign na say for intino. Then why are you we want to put pressure on the system but the system itself no quote and unquote is not collapse or it is too busy. Okay into yemu binum ne ka say sadia enye baby edui enye se pese yakutena strike mo as ye tena strike mo if the system has checked out na say bibi eni ho a enye let us find a way of getting the various presidential aspirants to sign some a pact with us. Say be ameba me say omutumi yesa na then we use that as a basis to go convince our people. We got them to do. I'm telling you, I was leading the University of Ghana UTAG. Yes. Me and Kasa na me ni omokasa about 2 hours. I was convincing them. Say we should call off the strike. If we no see into aba, me am for they voted against me. He voted to continue the strike. Near 2 men the strike and say other universities also voted. Say omo enya de ne na boom na. Yeah. So make
the pact no did they all sign?
The pact no the key presidential aspirants
at least
signed. President Mahama signed, Dr. Baumia signed, Alan Shemanti signed and the rest they all signed.
In the pact no did they commit to say Obi president Bia will declare state of emergency.
In the pact no kwasem and say a check akra into this a making kind. But I think there were several commitments you can't say. But
definitely the declaration of a state of emergency will be in there. Well, the main thing that we demand as
me to me akase seminya we can refer to, but I recall say at that time one of the things that we had said extensively was that the need for us to have a certain state of emergency declared, because some of us my view is that insuo bi apai and ubaha dem ha afo aflade akofa mop so bia o de pepa enti no ubedum no ubedum nsuo na afi wa mop wi a na afi enti no some of us felt, and we still feel, say, a certain state of emergency,
would help.
Would help. Okay, but take note, say, sometimes when say in the heat of the moment, say you say what you think should be the way out. Okay, but near okura to me also analyze situation now. And also it me decide say okay, say na maka me so be say na me to me ayeden aye. Now me kai say the last Congress a friend is saying answer na me feel it across invite Yewura Amakofibua and you catch and say it is still the demand of UTAG around the time, so there should be a state of emergency. You can't say mate nemo I say mo say me should be say
that is time and no more opposition.
There be Nancy me last Congress Michelle it was so many. Your friend about power yes, there should be a clear state of emergency. No, yes, Maka Mate, no means some call a dear friend say Omanhene echo now Omanhene so actually because your friend is saying a minister which may declare state of emergency and now Omanhene so maintain as or state of emergency. Also say as a son appropriate consultations, security for paying for about briefing or say you bet me and that is where matters
are now.
And but consultations
the other way would be say the pact now mama sign was not just a piece of paper. Now more expecting to be the signature so you were expecting say once within the signature assess
you will commence the fight. I mean do something.
The pact a woman say and what jitum sign say me declare state of emergency. You don't come to power and say you are consulting with who?
Yeah, but
when you were signing onto the part.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be fair. I mean, you put yourself in the state in the position of the president. Yes. Okay, Mayor Chief Executive Officer. There are so many things that I went to the Ghana Shippers Authority and I said I was going to do.
Yes.
Okay, some of them, I got there, and then you have people that the fact that I said I wanted to do them it's never meant to say I will not speak to those who have more expertise, in those areas than I am.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you I did we are working no coins one on them. I just saw the fast I just saw the yes I just saw the yes me never be me internal auditor. I've made him I call him the most powerful person in the organization. I don't take any decision that has to do with money without he doing prior auditing. Okay, me and Mr. Papa, Shemu say adie at the same. Okay, and sometimes who me zeal and person me die juma. Okay, Shemu say yes, we there adie we there. Who to be okay, me see you. And my point is that it is not unreasonable for a president to sign medical state of emergency and to get there and then to receive to say okay money paying for security couples are okay I'm doing consultations with you. Is the time ripe? Security couples based on advice I don't think it is unreasonable.
With this position, do you then agree say maybe organized labor and weren't fair to the former president? Because as part of my demand for the declaration of state of emergency and they call strike maybe he also had somewhere or declared which you didn't know about
governance. Please listen to me carefully. There to me mawa who soon see obia.
That's true.
Who soon see near or did to me near the SA.
That's true.
And to say demand the bimpo Nasa often say a unreasonable untumina and yakasa. Hit me tnas and yakasa mimianum. Adia more situation the people who are leading organized labor now some they are also reasonable human beings. Sometimes the courtesy. What could she am paying for? I'm paying for to say some of the cost strike. Penance mumbra radio mumba come as a munch rain. You can't answer much movie, Mosi radio a juada mobeti enka yedi muaye ebe bremo. A juada son man family. anka nye fese nka bia enwumre no meka se enka ye ka se ye bebo enso so no ye bibi ntie ntumi amba edwada mo mfi yen ebenada mo mfi yen ukuada mo mfi yen yawada mo mfi yen efiada mo mfi yen 5 days the following Monday you see besa epe no masaba it doesn't even show courtesy. Okay, me see it doesn't even show courtesy. Okay, and we heard them. Sometimes they called you directly to insult you. Sometimes they sponsored people to form splinter associations to break your front. Sometimes they did so many things. Sometimes they looked into your face and said, but compared to but I want to do consultations and see. You see, Kasa say anobre wo hwe and I say who demonstrate as a leader man kofo a wo sumo mu say nyomo kano oni omo ya adwen maybe a bibi mponti no untube nya e man nipa no e tone down in but compared to obi a wo friend okra say member meeting cry those days are you call at the labor one to say the biana me can say me bought the then finance ministry you call negotiations you call they won't come if from omo to mean take decisions na motina say for the whole day na say adi mapon na mo take decision no say okay any ye kwa consult ayeden aba but now saying kakre negotiation them say last year say president nankasa yeden estorm recently finance minister nankasa yeden estorm okay so that when people see say you are being that humble and you are being responsive to their adina almost demand to be cry omobeye no etumi mo omo etumi eden etonu down na it makes you a certain sense of responsiveness
egusua ekoso. How long would you personally want to wait for president consultations? No? For how many years?
Maybe me pacho. I don't know. I'm not the commander in chief. I'm not an expert on security matters. But I want to believe, say, he is receiving his advice. But beyond the declaration of a state of emergency, which and it is it is my call. Say because I believe say there should be a certain sense of agency be for no beyond that no I think that Ghana for in say aban no edi egu akwemu a ade no to enye de entwae but san say aban ni egu akwemu gidi say the da ni nyina no ye san niema ni nyina
say ben aban we di egu akwemu a aban da na anye bi name one
declaring of that those areas as security zones. Declare that Galams Bibia for saying in Roma forest reserves and I'm seeing also multiple the repeal of the L.
Yeah, it has not been done.
That that allows people to mine, in the forest. Yes. Okay, I mean, why should we have a law that allow people to mine in protected areas? It is being repealed. Look. Me say anya hwe kra no obi anya hwe kra no now two there can be no development without cohesion and unity of purpose. Anya hwe kra no under this regime no across the political divide no there is a consensus that Galamsey must be fought.
Has there been a timer?
What is a make us say bra na ye ko bi no ka say Galamsey kra de ye nko bi no ka say Galamsey it has no health implication.
Really?
Oh, one say MPB so gina simple so kasa one okay
say any health
me say almost Galamsey na health implication na one say me dem tie me hwe so TV so me patrol and to the bia also to me sisi waso
what I heard rather they say honorable are you a friend
me say mo di
tie me say me ka say omuntimi nko Galamsey na omun lusu aba
papa
but one can say any health implication
well you will me dem tie me mo bia so din here but me share say at a certain point in time, no, as a nation, we're polarized in the fight against galamsey, and those who were pushing that it be addressed, it be tackled, no, were attacked,
were targeted,
were targeted, they were attacked, and they called them all manner of names. But now, at least we are together. Now there is a certain consensus amongst all of us, and those who are calling for more action to be taken, no, they are not being targeted, they are not being attacked. And I think that say yanya hwe kra no se nyina gitu say adie e praying enti yentumu anamawa enu na etumi strengthen abansa ema otumi eye nia oye kaneno na we were divided enti no then nia odi ewu no ono so play on our division so na so omokra no omunye united enti no then o play. But now there is a certain consensus among across the political divide. Obi afo say look, this thing is killing us, this thing is an existential threat, and so it must be confronted head on. And I think that we can see say there are steps that are taken. It is not, I will be the last person to say and
we are out of the woods.
No, I mean you are not, then you are not being fair to the fact. It is still there. And then you are trying to we know Nancy Naimus Akoinshia I say two binomun. I mean in a say for. I mean these are all in Yema abaying ye, but then of course there are casualties. Once you are going to fight these things, people will also fight you back na say for. But there are steps, and we are hoping and we are still calling on government, urging government. Me catch President Mahama say, me say I know say or a legacy hunter. Now one of the key legacies will be to me the exact fight is also to go down in our history records. Say onono abreso and abia it to me fight reduce galamsey to its best.
Or J Professor Gyampo di pair wasn't because of how forceful you were in the fight against galamsey. That person may be disappointed, and then I'll be
disappointed saying
because you are no longer that vocal and forceful on the fight against galamsey.
Say the commitment, okay, and the posturing. Listen to me carefully. The commitment of the posturing of this government in the fight against galamsey. If I had seen 1%
of this
in the previous government, really? Me na me catch though. Na only pana wona na kasa me pacho ti.
Water bodies are still
the water. Please. I'm saying say if we had seen that commitment here, only pana wona na catch and say go and do this. No can say nya can me no ya adwen. Send na me say compared to back on friend across a member. Offer us in your mobile be Mrs. Semi who's our posture no 1% crank be yankasa.
Okay. Ain't it would make progress. But the other thing, my final one, Prof, on because meaning so free infant, so free salt pond fee like father and mother salt pond.
Papa Latini, to me a crapping in infant.
It won't mammy the free salt pond to a fantin.
Fantin Latini, you can't even if you are the mafia.
It means say a baby a that when that's a non amount the energy to fight against the lithium deal.
Yes.
With everything you know now, and with the benefit of hindsight, do you think maybe you spoke against that deal without the benefit of having a lot more information, and that with what you know now, you wish you had not done what you did?
I had not done what?
But you fought against the way Ukoshia him for Ewo Mukrum say Omunsorintia deal na eba any Libya with the information I was here and with what the current government eba up now. You have both the
put things in proper perspective.
Then tell me those perspectives.
Yenim nkofo biblia yetu egudie ewo omukromu atete apansa.
Yes.
Na mencha de mukromu fanteman. Omanyibi lithium.
Yeah.
one of the challenges to our effort to extricate ourselves from the quagmires of poverty and underdevelopment has been our inability to negotiate for proper deals as proceeds from our natural resources. In the day na make say Brana Gaddafi won oil e woni kroma say 70% here na dia over 30% unto me amensa on empro. Other African countries e be 40%, be 30%. Who buy ye two oil I me say ye 15% impo. Enna tete na mabreso ene ye can say ube two gold ya ene na se for gold ya near ya 5%. Tete eno na wo hwa ye renegotiate da. Enti ye mu binom na ye ni da so se yenya akwanya ye be ka afsra aban se on renegotiate sa lithium we no na pacho otiase na se ne be ya ebema yenya sika akese ewom ena na mencha de yenya e friend say lithium ene ye te se aban se 10% ni mu bi so original say isha because if you compare other a year 10% nisha pacho TMU me can say 10% nisha then and then so me say 10% no isha we be there do 10% nisha na enu echi no me say of a na me no di nkomo bi say wo kai say na ye tu sa de ho na mo bebre mi ankasa me fato me ho so say me ne mpenimfo wo ekromo ho deal sa also be kan ho asem na sefo ye tu ho na mo bebre ba o follow me on social media be do bebi me kan say sa de mejai ale ntina mejai ale che say ase won na me koma ho no e do bi na so kutia me obi a me ye boa afraid ye obi a ye boa afraid ye decide see ye be ye say a obekwa last minute amusi o ye nye biom e den na ekoso nti na ma me ye mabemu ya den ebu kakra ena enum an edi mu an edi den ebeto abai nti eja ya to abai onyame ncha de omanpenin se mensom ewo shipper authority tell me de ma adwi mu de medwuma na meye na me ho no bi draw my attention say aban fufuro NDC aban say 10% na yen yesi so no o ka de mo kwaje 5% na matia na me say oh me nyini am so mami amenye that was your initial so oh na I mean how present ma mo to be nyasa enti me you know ana me tell say minister no refer to MSA acts one of the acts act 7 one of the acts be a case betimi ade 5% royalty and then no jina say oh minister there be and quickly near me to me no patroti o if yenyansa emma me kwan say me ni opinion me ne ye adwuma se adibi wo ho a oye na menti ase efie nyansa ma me kwan se me meka wa obeba bonten abeka efie nyansa previously now kanabo efie nyansa kire me se nipa no wo ho na metumi ne aka ese me ne ka okay na me ne ka na se ejin na se nyeyi na afi mpese me ka wa bonten a compared to kanena na mini akwenya bia se me ni we be kasa directly we dem akwenya se me ni e so open on phone minister ala na ekoso yi into Basha made the write up be a trouble. I think you referred to it. I read it here on it was after I'd spoken to me, Mr. Casanos, you they are going to Parliament to table an LIB to make sure to amend 5%. You know, I'm okay because I mean you cannot. Some of us, and when your opposition, I'm sure that you all supported us when we said that the 10% was not enough. The 10% was not enough. And the ban saying that into Okansa na makumatomi. In fact, no question. Maybe I, Mr. Friend, may call OB program. What is your position? You. Because so many will come for cry and find man for iron for na many of more higher don't the lithium and by make catch say may table the LI before to make sure say a back to come to an appreciable level and yet 5% no and I can tell you that near someone or cannot meeting and someone can it may also even be beyond the 10%. And they say it is hard not say my position is still intact. I'm not a flip-flopper. I cannot say 10% enra na enye na nda ebisi 5% ana me say suddenly 5% no mo no yes. I can't do that. And you know, one I see na kasa me company for penny for then am we it is saying penny for me friend from nyina so na me ncha de obi eni won so obu me nim tia obi aso catch and say look Enche will come out with a certain statement. I bet you any at
the time I okay say na 10% in your then no. Did you have the benefit of knowing what was in the act? Senna Act recommended 5%.
I knew. I have known this, Pacho. I'm a professor of political science,
yes.
Okay,
yes.
with expertise in governance and natural resource management. Okay. And my study, my most cited article, a friend saving Ghana from its oil. Okay, that most cited that. My natural resource who are the. I mean, say I don't understand. Say natural resource. Who discussion. You be colonial. Your friend is saying colonial negotiation. 5% canena be a bit me kasa be a education ko ni be a ahemfo. Be a no me na omutumi negotiate ye na ma 5% and one bet na there be it cannot happen. You know, it's something that has been my long held position. Say that 5% into 10%. We felt that we could do more. And beyond that, we felt that more there was supposed to also be more consultations. You know, especially with the people in the catchment area, the people who are going to be the suffer the direct impact. And I mean, minister, my friend was in patrol. Me new crew for crown wahana. Me consult on some of these things. I thought that it was something that showed a lot of progress. And you know, Emma adi the friend saying Ghana for. Mami come and say me. Come Ghana for at say your position yesterday, no. Into means and simply because power has changed hands. What I believe in is me onipa kiti be in abai me manager me come me star strength for kwat also na send here sha now so me kiti na me na afraid here amanfo nyina any some minister or no than minister dokra at the baby na me Gyampo and me say na me abai me minister and me can say me say no so ye me to me nkase ebinu mo kire say you see ebinu mo kire say ya kase me say 10% ni so na 5% e dey me say me nkase how bibia ye and na me write up nso a me buy no say me awa kase wo kan no me I've never said that. I put it out there and saying because of ejuma ntin me do fie no mabre kan no me da na to me na matro na church na say me into me nya anaje ntro but this one I was intentional about because I wanted people to know my position. That it has not changed, but it appears that near onda na also wada no untumi nyane no enti no obi no ho even though you are saying your position hasn't changed, you know, onye na
and negotiate with the company which you are
All right, so that is it. Inti asempa eyetia. But let me say, Prof die wa papa and komono wa me na metwa so. Baby ehuhia ena medi ebesum wo. But on the more serious note no, mama yehu se MPP for mu krom ha no. They are not meant for good in this country. Why do I say this? Omo nya omo adwen se omo pega na yi o. Se MPP for say omo wa adwempa wo ma wi ho a. It's simple. They should help Mahama to succeed. Obi beka say politics na ye. There be who your politics say bi enche say no man ho tan ana setimamu for ya de bi a ebe ma ban no nanim atwitwiri fom. Obi beka say NDC for opposition nso ye bi. Hey, let me tell you one thing. Say who monitor brand NDC for co-position in 2017 NDC fought for almost 2 years before some ti omo for good kwan and as omo for good television ni radio station social media a criticize aban we eno kra no na omo ye niema bi a eye awkward omo ye niema bi a ense emfata enti no na e wo se omo ye de omo di omo anotom. That was the time na aban no ashase e behave abnormally by spending or spending anyhow. Or spending anyhow. Bones say was sign the contract we no the amount bones no way we no the way bones say a lot of money were what flying all over because they thought say mobile by money they can do anything and I'm pa ene pay for bubu be say da ponchre ni be wu no and be hu a tinting height the day a frog will die. That is the very day you will know the length of it. This is a straight translation. What you say? Ampa so MPP for free abamu any who sampa. Sana nkofo we omu din semone e wo Ghana. Omu yeden omu din semone e wo Ghana. Omu di oman ni sika. They are squandering, embezzling, misusing public fund. Omo atene bi so omo di tofie. Omo atene bi so omo di yesei. A whole lot of mismanagement. You get me right? Inti I am one say NDC for better by more less than a year. MPP for Huratna NDC for council. And I say I didn't crown mobile moon she said no. We all can see and we all know say Mahama with humility. With what? Humility. What brain wants it. What coming down to what? I mean, apart from our 7 mind. Inti we MPP ni na wotena hono na wunya asemi nka akwatena. Instead of you to go and sit down and draw your policies, say ebi Ghana for be hu mobo na omo ato abama mono. You have always been criticized about so the papa bebozo. Me say last year, let's compare last year's. No, not last year, because last year December, Mahama, people were proud and people were happy. But let's compare last 2 years, that is 2023. Said the next Christmas is it here. Christmas is bananko phone, but they know for baby, oh, Christmas with a bed do. That is what people were saying. But last 2 years, nanko phone hun so. Even when Maminka last year, last year. I'll move for bad Mahama Weir. Nanko for a soon say, Mahama Brana Bejo mine, because Christmas young so I just a and people were like, say ya bon papa e ba ntino ase ye wani da so kakra all in the name of abamboni yinyaaye for the past 8 years amubetena so a omwankasa ehihye obubotom omwanhihye oman no they fixed their pockets with a lot of stolen monies. They filled what? They filled themselves with what? Stolen monies, stolen properties, and everything that omunya say omu efa ewa baimu. Inti enyanwu wada. Say ne MPP ni ebegine baby obedidi because we fear baimu sa sika na onye wie ni na onya. Inti ne ho echire no. Na rehu se ma wo mi se sika no so no. Omudi bi ya niema ya sem fata. Omudi bi tuto fie ma nkofo, tuto cast my girls. Omu di nkofo tutu kwan. Nti ni skari jatom because no omudwin say they are going to be in power forever. But onu mi se Nyankopon say adwembone na mudi ti omani mu no. Menti ase emma memba embre na bombedi. Usiani John. Usuboni John. Jamani Mahama. Eni na bawa na fena Professor J Nana Opoku Ajiman Ebeba Beji Ghana. Indeed, Ghana has been what? Delivered from the what? The the wicked ones. It is another no. Kwa yechira waju comment section ni because wa update mu on this platform. So the mega de bia me yen no. Se ni sia makachro me de beba be sommo. Tijimbre na tie abibia Nyankopon enko bibia makra bye bye.